Good evening, my name is Jakob Schneider and my final project is a big data case study for analysis of application logs. Let's go to the introduction. The technique that I used is Apache Spark with a Python API, and I used that to analyze a MATLAB debug log and to find out use cases out of this log. This is actually pretty nice because MATLAB has a lot of features and they're all licensed individually. So with this information from the license file, we can find out how the users use the tool. Let's go to the overview. I would like to present you first of all my concept for this case study. I will talk a little bit about cleaning up the inputs data, and then we would go into the code and we will see what I did there. I think some of the lines we will also run then right in Apache Spark in the console, and then in the end we will have a look at the output data and we will analyze it in D3. So let's go to the concept. On up here you see some lines out of a MATLAB debug log from a license server. So we have here a timestamp. This is just an ID. Then we have here a status. So either the license was given in, or it was denied, or it was taken out. Then there's here the feature, and this is the user, which is encrypted, so I can use this here. I want to use, like I said, Apache Spark with a Python API to in the end have something like this. So we have here the use case. Here the use case is only MATLAB and the occurrences, how often that happens, and with the other features as well. And then I will take this data and I will create a pie chart out of it, and then we can analyze like how often what occurs and what that does that say us. I thought the result was really interesting, so stay with me. First thing which really took a lot of effort was cleaning up the debug log, which I got. So first I wanted to clean it up so I could use it, and on the other side is also that I wanted to encrypt it because I had here some sensitive information like user ID, and there was also a machine name. So I actually used a Python script to in the end have this format. So like you said before, I saw before in the concept, there's always a timestamp, an ID, the status, the feature, and the user ID, which will be always the same for the same user before, so we can actually really do the job. After I did this, of course I put this input data in a HDFS, and from there I could also load it into PySpark. Maybe we go right into it. So here I have all the code. This is actually the whole script that I used, but when I wanted to develop it, of course I didn't have the whole script and I run it. I used here the command line, so the console to submit some commands to see what comes back. First thing I did was reading in the file, like I said, and then I filtered it. I only want the outs. So when the license was giving out to a user, and I count this as a 1. So this you see here. So I will have the user ID, I will have the feature, this is my key, and then I have a 1, this is my value. I map this all, and then I make a map reduce. So in the end, maybe I already did this here because it takes a while, my machine is not so fast. And then I maybe just copy this and paste it here, and then we have a look at the output. this takes a while. I had this the last time as well. Then maybe I go back quickly to the slides. This is actually the output. You can trust me on this. So we have a user ID, the feature, and the occurrency, like how often they come up. And there's always only one feature. So what will be the next step is that we want to group these features. Maybe let's have a look if it's running through. No. What we want is we want to group these features. So first, okay, here's a little bit more what I do. I filter them. I only want the important checkouts of licenses. Like if somebody accidentally used one, I don't care so much. So I only do the important ones. And then I forget about the value. I only have the key. I split the key. So in the end, there is my key is my ID and the value is the feature. Then I sort them and then I group them by key, because what I want to have is a list where I have the user ID as a key and then all the features as a value. Meanwhile, it ran through, and like I said, you can trust me on this. This is exactly what I had in the green screen here. Let's go where we group by key. So this is the command. We group the RDD by key. We don't have to do all the other commands because I already put them there and they're in the memory. And now I have a list, and to work with it I have to parallelize it. So I also put this command here, and then I have a look at the result. Group take. And you see we have, maybe let's take this one, we have here the user and he has 3 features: MATLAB, Simulink and Stateflow. Well, this is already nice, but we have also, like, in the end I want to have the use cases and I don't want to count them all through. So I don't want to count like 1, 2, 3. I want to sum them all up. So I need to do some more steps. And this is actually here my next slide. So what I do then is I flip the whole thing, because like I said, the users are not really important to me. The use cases are the things that are important to me. I flip it and then I take the use cases, the group features as key, and then 1 as a value. And then I group again by key. So maybe let's go again here in the command line and execute it. You see, you can like put in commands in here, which is kind of nice, and if one command doesn't work, you get a direct feedback. And then I parallelize it again because I will receive a list. And now let's have a look. And now I have here different use cases. So you see there are different features, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 features, and this occurs only 2 times. 2 times is not so much because I have a data of 6 weeks, so not really often. So what I do then is I filter the whole thing, because like I said, I want the important use cases, the ones that happen more often, and I don't want the whole, like, it happened once, or to one user. That is not important to me. I want the big things. So I filter only use cases that happen more than once, and then I will sort them again, because it's way nicer to have the use cases that occur more often, that you have them on the top. So that's what I do here. Let us have a look. And yeah, let's have a look at the first. MATLAB. Only MATLAB without any feature is used the most. Interesting. Maybe let's look at some more. Maybe the first 5. Yeah, and here see how it worked. We have one feature or 2 features, image processing toolbox, the image toolbox and MATLAB, and it occurred 77 times. Good to know. What does that say us? Well, let's go out here. Does that say us? Now we have a list, like you see here, of features, but it's nicer to illustrate them. So what I did is I created a pie chart with D3, so we can analyze this. And yeah, like you saw, the biggest one is MATLAB. Then there's MATLAB, Simulink, and Stateflow. And here we have MATLAB and Simulink. Interesting. So if you have a look at those 3, we have around 75% of all the use cases that we collected are in these 3 use cases, and they only use 3 different features. So these are for sure the main features and the ones you could focus on in a company, because you know that they occur more often, and then you go in the smaller ones. Well, those are already still big, but then it goes smaller and smaller and more specific, like some users use this, maybe one group, maybe 2 groups. So if you start somewhere, of course you will start here in the big ones, and I think this is quite a nice quite a nice illustration to see where to focus on, what is important for your company. Yeah, I have this also here in the presentation, quite nice. Those are the biggest ones. Now we come to the lessons learned. What did I learn, or what is important to know with this technique? Like for me, first thing, we had this already in the lectures, but it's true. In the beginning, cleaning up like real data takes some time. Consider it, and yeah, if you have some good data in the beginning, then it's easier to work with it. Then when you create lists, what I did here, so a list of different features, like I said, when I create a list, it is actually more challenging because you cannot do a map, you cannot do like the map you can after parallelize, but you cannot do the reduce function. So it's more challenging. You have to know which functions you use then. And one thing just for myself, it's like I need to gain more knowledge in programming. And I think if I knew Python better, it would have been way easier for me and way faster. Maybe some last words to the software that I used, PySpark with the Python API. I think, like I said, it's really nice that you have the console where you can always like shoot in commands and see what comes back. You can have a look. I think that's really convenient, and it's really nice to learn. In the end, you can just go there and submit your job. So you go in a real command window and you say, you go there and you say PySpark, and then the XYZ put pi, .py, execute it, and it runs, and you get a feedback, which is kind of nice. Yes, that's all about it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for your attention, and yeah, hope to hear you soon.